Blue is one of the rarest colors in nature. Very few things in nature are truly blue. And yet, whenever we want to portray loneliness, we often turn to blue. A lonely street at night, an empty room, a figure standing beneath a cold blue sky. Again and again, blue becomes the backdrop for isolation. But why? How did one of nature's rarest colors become the color of sadness, solitude, and emotional distance? Part of the answer may lie in what blue reminds us of. The sky, the ocean, the vast spaces that seem to stretch beyond the horizon. Blue has long been associated with vastness and infinity. Artist Yves Klein became obsessed with the color because he believed it could evoke something beyond the limits of the physical world. Unlike other colors, blue often feels boundless. Think about standing on a beach and looking out at the horizon. You can see exactly where the ocean meets the sky. And yet, the farther you look, the harder it becomes to tell where one ends and the other begins. To Klein, that was the power of blue. It could suggest something endless, something spiritual, something impossible to fully hold on to. His paintings often contain almost nothing except blue itself. No figures, no landscapes, no story to guide the eye, just blue. Looking at them can feel strangely disorienting. The eye searches for depth, for structure, for something solid to rest on, but finds only space. Maybe that's part of what makes blue feel so emotional. It creates the feeling of something just beyond our reach. From the very beginning, blue belonged to distant things. Even before blue became emotional in art, it already existed in places we could see but never fully reach. Romantic painters seem to understand this instinctively. In many of Caspar David Friedrich's paintings, lone figures stand before vast landscapes and endless skies. The world around them feels beautiful, yet unreachable. Friedrich often placed small traces of warm light against deep blue backgrounds. A distant sunrise, a faint glow on the horizon, moonlight breaking through the clouds. Somehow the warm light feels closer, but blue feels distant. Even nature reinforces this impression. Faraway mountains appear blue. The deeper the ocean becomes, the darker blue it turns. And every evening, just before night arrives, the world slowly fades into blue again. Maybe that's why blue rarely feels fully comforting. It can feel peaceful, beautiful, even calming, but there is almost always a slight sense of separation inside it. And perhaps that feeling of separation is what slowly became loneliness. But distance alone doesn't fully explain why blue became the color of loneliness. After all, distance is not the same thing as sadness. Somewhere along the way, blue became something more. It became the color of grief, the color of melancholy. Few artists captured this more powerfully than Pablo Picasso. In 1901, after the death of his close friend Carlos Casagemas, Picasso entered what would later become known as his Blue Period. For several years, his paintings were dominated by blue. Not bright blue, not vibrant blue. The kind of blue that feels quiet, somber, almost weighed down by emotion. The people who filled these paintings were often isolated figures living on the margins of society. Many were poor, grieving, or alone. Even when multiple figures appeared together, they still felt strangely alone. The blue did more than colour the scene. It shaped the emotion itself. Everything felt quieter, slower, heavier. It became a visual language for sorrow, and Picasso wasn't alone. Over time, the connection between blue and sadness began appearing throughout literature, music, and everyday language. Again and again, blue became the colour we used for emotional pain. Not the sharp pain of anger, not the burning intensity of fear, but a quieter kind of suffering. The feeling of absence, the feeling of longing, the feeling that something important is missing. Perhaps that's why blue feels so different from other colours. It doesn't demand our attention, it sits quietly in the background. And somewhere along the way, that quietness became sadness. And those meanings didn't stay in paintings or language. They became part of modern visual culture. You don't have to study colour theory, or know who Yves Klein was, or ever have seen a Caspar David Friedrich painting. And yet, almost everyone can feel what blue can mean. Distance, loneliness, isolation. Without realizing it, cinema continued teaching us that language. Just as painters once did, filmmakers often use blue to communicate those emotions. When filmmakers want a scene to feel lonely, they rarely choose warm colors. They choose blue. We've seen these images so many times that their meaning feels almost automatic. Over time, blue stopped feeling like just another color. It became a kind of emotional shorthand. Blue is one of the rarest colors in nature, but it is everywhere. In the sky, in the sea, always just beyond our reach. Perhaps that's why it became the color of loneliness. The loneliness of distance, of memory, of realizing that something beautiful cannot fully remain. There is a strange comfort in blue, a quiet acceptance of distance, change, and impermanence.